Well, ag gets dirty. So there we are coming to you from the Coral Laundromat Studio. Perhaps you're getting ready to clean up from fall and looking forward to winter. Well, there might be some things you need cleaned up, like those coveralls that are so dirty you're afraid to put them in your own washing machine. They might disintegrate. If you have hunters who are getting ready for the season and they want things to be cleaned with non-scented cleaners, or if you're a mom and you just want to get some housework done, you can get those pillows, comforters, rugs out of the mudroom, coveralls for everybody, snow pants, and all of them can go to the new Coral Laundromat. Wash, dry, fold, drop off, do it yourself. It's right there on Veterans Boulevard for your use. Thanks for being here for Weather and Ag in Focus today. Very much looking forward to spending some time with you this afternoon and all of the things that are going on. One of those would be the weather. If you haven't stepped outside yet, you are finding a blissful 55 degrees-ish, somewhere in there. That's our high for today. And we intend to see even warmer temperatures tomorrow, probably breaking the 60-degree mark. Let's get to the mid 60s if we can, with lots of sunshine. Our overnight lows down into the 30s, 40s, so really quite nice for this time of the year. Saturday sees change, chance of rain, and some cooler temperatures where we're getting the highs in the 40s, and that trend will continue into next week. Rightfully so. Let's look at the calendar. It is into November. Fall is coming, and really it's been here. I should say winter's coming a little bit more closely. But nonetheless, those things are happening, and we're going to see more weather before you know it. I'm still holding out for no snow until after Thanksgiving. Maybe some of you are thinking the same as well. Well, want to make sure to say thank you today to Cass County Farm Bureau. They have been sponsoring our Weather and Ag Assistant Ag Director who comes on air with us once a month. We'll have that person joining us later here in November, and we're booking December. If you have students who have an interest and would be great to join us, if they are the ages of sophomore in high school to sophomore in college and can spend a day on air interviewing guests, asking questions, and being a part of all of the sales meetings and so forth, would love to have them join us. And again, that's sponsored by Cass County Farm Bureau. One of their pillars, of their three pillars, is actually ag education. And so Cass County Farm Bureau has done a lot. Outside of education, they also have been part of the North Dakota Stockman's Foundation, Out of the Ashes Wildlife Relief Fund for 2024, and the Living Ag in the Classroom, where they are making sure that teachers are educated in agriculture and can pass that along to their students. Any questions today? Well, why don't you give me a call? I'm on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. You can also reach me ag@flagfamily.com. My inbox is sponsored by Superior Grain Equipment. And with Superior Grain Equipment, you might be thinking ahead about changing up your bin site a little bit. Maybe some things need to be done differently after the storms this summer. Perhaps a dryer. Dryers seem to be a bit of a bottleneck in corn harvest. Got to slow down a little bit in order to let your dryer catch up. Maybe you need to think about doing something different. Let's talk to those folks over at Superior because they certainly are able to help, and that is Superior Grain. You can reach them at superiorbins.com. All right. Also, tomorrow will be a panel at NDSU. There's a lot happening because it's Harvest Ball. It is the weekend to celebrate agriculture and athletics. You wouldn't necessarily think those two things go together, but indeed they do. We have a lot of student athletes at North Dakota State University who are from farm families majoring in agriculture and other things. So things are going to kick off tomorrow morning. There are events going on downtown at Berry Hall. That's part of the Department of Ag Economics. There will be a presentation with Ag Country starting at 11 o'clock. There's a luncheon that's going to be featuring a panel of Dr. Sandro Steinbahn, also Dr. Bill Wilson, Dr. Frayne Olson. Those are all ag economists at North Dakota State. And then we'll have a board director for Ag Country, Greg Nelson. He farms down near Oaks. I get to moderate the panel. And if you have questions, when you think about that group and what they might be talking about, well, maybe you want to direct some questions to me, and you can do that via email. The title of the day that we're following is From Fields to Futures, What's Driving Today's Ag Commodity Markets. We're going to look at pricing trends, global demand, and what producers and buyers might want to be expecting next. Some of you, whether you're farming or those who are listening and have those additional questions, well, that's when you can send them to me. Again, my inbox is powered by Superior Grain Equipment, and that is ag@flagfamily.com. All right. Other things that are happening. Hey, backyard chicken ranchers, I'm talking to you. Maybe there is a new animal in sight that you haven't been thinking of yet. As we get close to Thanksgiving, so many folks are happily shopping for just the right size turkey. Maybe you're sizing up a prime rib for the family. But have you ever considered an alternative as a black chicken? All black. All right, so Addison, I'm going to have you Google this for the live stream. I'm sorry to give you a last minute homework assignment. So if you look up an AYAM, so I'm going to spell this AYAM. Some of you are listening and you're like, what is this thing? What does a black chicken look like? AYAM. Second word is Cemani, CEMANI. If you Google that and you bring up a picture of it, this chicken is all black feathers, black meat, black bones, and even the combs. Normally you associate a chicken with the red combs on the top of their head. Not this one. It is a expensive little bird. Breeding stock can cost thousands of dollars, and the chicks approach $100 a piece. Oh, there, Addison has found it for those of you who are lucky enough to be watching on our live stream, which is on Facebook, YouTube, and Acres TV. You can find us there for the WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. You'll see a picture of this chicken. Even its beak is black. So why? Well, it's an Indonesian breed. It has a duplicate gene for fibromelanosis, and that causes nearly every cell in its body to produce the pigment melanin. Well, this particular bird tends to be kind of small, so I guess you're not looking to feed a giant family with this one. It's aloof, so I guess it sounds like it's a cat, and it's prone to only having 1 or 2 eggs per week. That's 40% of what a standard laying hen will produce at peak production. But it's unique. It is prized. Its striking jet black looks have made it the darling of collectors around the world. I don't know who's collecting chickens, but if you do, you're going to have to send me a message now if you're collecting chickens. And also in Asia, this bird is believed to have mystical or medicinal powers. The meat is actually available in many North American Asian markets. And if you're looking for it, well, I would be curious when and where you find it and if you decide to cook with it. I was told earlier this morning this has actually been an ingredient on some cooking shows where folks were using the all black meat from this chicken. I don't think the taste differs, but simply the look of it. So it's a striking bird. Kind of looks like Darth Vader's pet, but it's unique. And that's just one of the unique things we'll be talking about today. I will also be joined by a couple of guests. First guest is going to be Maddison Nord. She's with the Barnesville FFA chapter. They have a fundraiser coming up on Monday, donkey basketball. Now, I've never participated, nor have I even seen it. And I'm pretty sure, considering my athletic ability relates to a cow on ice, I probably shouldn't be on a donkey. But I'm excited to hear what these students are planning and how this event will be going. Also, a thank you to Grateful Cratefuls. I managed to get a gift from them last week, and it's been outstanding. If you are looking for something unique, you want to send it off for birthdays, anniversaries, thank yous, and so much more, get a hold of them. Grateful Cratefuls. You can find them at gratefulcratefuls.com. We are going to check in with the American Ag Network. We want to hear what's going on in the livestock markets. When we return, we'll have our first guest. Again, that's Maddison Nord, Barnesville FFA chapter. Donkey basketball is on its way. I bet it's not the Harlem Globetrotters, but we'll talk about that next. As we get our guests connected for the day, there's always plenty of topics to cover. All right, right now, there's questions going on in regards to China and the situation with soybeans. There's China is grappling with a glut of soybeans after months of record imports, and it's been curbing prospects for U.S. exporters despite a recent trade truce that Washington, D.C. is saying includes a pledge by Beijing to resume heavy purchases. So, right now, traders and analysts are warning that vast stockpiles at ports and in state reserves are coupled with weak crush margins, and that's limiting Beijing's appetite for further purchases. So, we will be watching to see how that goes. Even with tariff waivers, margins remain negative, and the Brazilian beans are still looking cheaper. Just like anybody else, when you are out shopping, you might be looking for a better deal. And that's sort of what China is doing when they are going to do some buying from Brazil. China had agreed to buy 12 million tons of U.S. soybean by year end and 25 million tons in each of the next 3 years, but they have not publicly committed to making purchases, although they did suspend their retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports. We'll see where all of that starts to go. Now, additional items that are going on. Trump administration is looking to ease the pricing on coffee and bananas. There have been officials indicating the administration could soon reduce tariffs on coffee, bananas, a few other foods, especially like fruits and things like that. There were not specific time frames nor specific tariff reductions to identify which countries' goods could be affected, but the move would apply to categories of products across various nations. We'll see where that should lead us in the future. I think most of us have watched at least a 50% increase on coffee over the last few weeks, months, etc. And although I'm not a coffee drinker, I have been able to keep a close eye on what's been happening in regards to that pricing. Russia says that seized Ukrainian regions account for about 3% of their harvest. This was announced by Moscow earlier this week. 3% of Russia's total grain harvest will come from new territories, as they call them, that are actually in Ukraine. That's the same as last year's figure, despite a drought there and the adjoining regions during the summer. Now, Russia largely controls several areas. They harvested about 4 million tons of grain, which is slightly less than 2024, and 600,000 tons of oil seeds from about 3 million hectares of land. Russia refers to the 4 regions as new territory, and they are still internationally recognized as Ukraine. Ukraine considers all grain produced in the 4 regions and Crimea, which was annexed by Russia in 2014, to have been stolen by Moscow, and they regularly ask Western allies to sanction importers of it. More items that are going on as we watch the government shutdown end and we see people returning to their jobs. One of the things that will be impacted is livestock. Now, through the government shutdown, USDA and APHIS, that's the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, as well as the Food Safety and Inspection Service, they kept functioning. Now, the efforts of the government to contain the New World screwworm, African swine fever, and bird flu, as well as bovine tuberculosis, have gone unchanged. We are continuing to see headway made on those. Speaking with the New World screwworm, it was announced earlier today that the sterile fly facility is now up and running in Mexico, so that will be able to release the sterile male flies so that they can't breed with the females to increase the population of that screwworm and the potential for infection in not only beef animals but other wildlife as well. Well, we have a guest joining us today with the Barnesville FFA chapter. We've been able to make a connection to talk about donkey basketball, and why wouldn't we? It sounds like, Brooke, have you been able to join us today?
Yes.
Outstanding.
Hello?
Brooke, tell us
Perfect.
who you are and what you do with the Barnesville FFA.
So I'm chapter historian here at the Barnesville FFA. We are really excited to bring this event back. We haven't had this event since 1996. If you're unfamiliar with that donkey basketball, it's where people ride donkeys and play basketball.
Okay, hold on. Where do you get the donkeys? I mean, is somebody just bringing them into town from their own operation? What is happening there?
So they're an operation out of Wisconsin. They're named the business is Dairyland, and they trained these donkeys to be able to do this. So each donkey is trained to do something different. One might be told a word and it just automatically stops and won't move until they say another word. It's so funny, and it's a fun night. It's a bring your friends and family. It's a fun, friendly event. It's so fun.
Okay, so you haven't done it for a little while, but who's going to be your new players? So are these folks without any donkey basketball experience? Is it faculty? Is it students? Who's on the teams?
So we have 4 teams. So we have our Barnesville FFA team. We have a student
Hmm.
team. We have a Barnesville FFA alumni team and a staff members team. So the staff members are just school staff members. So we're hoping to maybe be able to get our principal on there. But yeah.
Do do you have to make baskets from the donkey only, or are there some other rules that go along with it?
So the main rule is that you have to be on the donkey to be able to shoot the basket, or the points don't count. But other than that, I think I've seen people try to drag their donkeys down the court. But really, you just have to be on the donkey to be able to make the basket.
Okay, Brooke, what does your custodian say? Because you're doing this in the gym, and I know
Yeah.
what livestock do. What's going to happen to the floor for the volleyball game that comes
So,
up next?
so the donkeys wear these rubber boots on their like hooves to not scuff
Under
the
the
floor up.
tail? Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. So there's a
No,
rubber boot on the foot,
on
but
the
what happens from under the tail?
so we have teams of younger members in our FFA chapter that are going to go around with pedal tractors and trailers on their pedal tractors and scoop up the manure that falls on the ground.
You have a
And
pedal tractor fleet of pooper scoopers, is what you're telling me.
yes, yes, it's
This is brilliant.
it's yes. Oh, it's so exciting. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I remember going to them as
what's
little kids, but I haven't been to one since probably I was 6, so I'm excited.
uh what's the admission? What time does this start at the Barnesville High School gym?
So it'll start at 7 p.m. on Monday the 17th at the Barnesville FFA, or at Barnesville here
Okay.
at the school, in the high
Okay.
school.
That's Monday. And how much are tickets?
So tickets are $10 if you purchase them ahead of time. You can purchase them through the QR code on the poster that's posted to the WAG Facebook page, or
Hmm.
you can
Yep.
purchase tickets at Barnesville Feed Mill, Barnesville Grocery, any FFA member, and the Barnesville Midwest Bank for a physical ticket. If you don't get your hands on a physical ticket, don't worry. The tickets at the door are $15, but if you pre-order
Okay.
tickets, they're $10.
Mrs. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
All right. I'm sure there'll be
no.
are there concessions for you and the donkey?
Yes.
Like does the donkey get to go get popcorn too?
I hope so. But yes, there'll be concessions. We'll have for sure pretzels and soft drinks, and hopefully we'll be able to get popcorn.
Oh, this is going to be phenomenal. I
Oh, I'm
cannot wait to see
scared.
the results.
Yes.
Okay. I just had a listener text me and said, "You've never had donkey basketball when you were in school." I'll be honest. I remember them coming when I was young, but we were dairy farmers. We never got there, so I totally missed out on it. But this sounds so great. What are you guys going
Oh,
to do with the money that you raise for the FFA? What does that go towards?
it goes towards, so hopefully we have a couple teams already registered for state to be able to compete at the state level. And so we're hoping to
Okay.
get a lot more teams be able to go to state this year. And so this money will help us be able to send those kids to state without any financial strain on them personally. So we're hoping to be able to send kids to state with the money that we raise with this, but it's not just going to be for kids that go to state. It'll be for all of our chapter activities and anything that we need in the chapter.
This is phenomenal. I cannot encourage people enough to take the short drive on Monday night down to Barnesville. I mean, let's face it, it's getting dark at 5:30, 5 o'clock these days. Go to Barnesville at 7 o'clock. Go to the high school gym. Buy your tickets in
Oh, it'll
advance.
be
Again,
fun.
just as Brooke said, their poster is on our website. On our Facebook page. You can find it there. You can use the QR code. It's currently up on our live stream if you wanted to find it there. Uh, I think you're going to have a wonderful turnout. I hope nobody gets hurt. But Brooke, thank you so much for filling us in on the details about the Barnesville FFA chapter's donkey basketball.
Thank you for having me today.
Uh, can't wait to hear the results. So everybody, definitely stay tuned for that. We're going to touch on our bottom of the hour news. When we return, we're going to talk about a career technical education academy out of Grand Forks and its effect on the northern end of the Red River Valley. We'll be back. Well, happy to have you here on Weather and Ag in Focus. And also, don't forget, our weather is not only brought to you by Progressive Ag, and they want to make sure that you know that we have excellent weather coming today, tomorrow, and then a little bit of a change. We'll get down into the 40s and more seasonal like weather next week. But also, we want to let you know that Vision Ford was a part of our Here We Grow project this summer. They were here as we raised 20 acres of wheat for our custom farming project. And Ward and the gang down at Vision Ford have said if you have a recall on your vehicle, they'll come to you and do it so that you don't have to make an appointment and drive your vehicle to the dealership in Wapenen. Same thing for oil changes and such. So that to me is a great bit of service. Don't overlook it. Talk to the folks at Vision Ford. I get an opportunity to bring in a second guest today because I love to highlight youth in agriculture and as they look to find jobs and so much more for our region. And the person we get to visit with is Levi Reese, and Levi is an ag education instructor in Hillsboro, the FFA chapter advisor, and is a part of the Grand Forks Technology Center. I believe this is a career technology academy. So, Levi, where do we start? Tell us about all the things that you do.
Yeah, so starting this year, we opened the doors at the Career Impact Academy up in Grand Forks, which has been years in the making, part of the other academies that are out there, but this one was able to get open this year. And when they got all their stakeholders, which I think there was over 90 stakeholders that were involved in the whole project of it and helped raise funds for it, one of the things they asked for was an ag program, which Grand Forks hasn't had for a very long time. And in the past, I've done some classes up there, but they asked me to come up and teach a class on precision technology is what they've been asking for. So we are teaching a Precision Ag Tech 1 and Precision Ag Tech 2 class to students from Central Valley, Hillsboro, and Thompson, Red River, um, and Central.
Okay, I've got some questions that go along with that, Levi. So, first of all, the Career Impact Academy. You mentioned you're focusing on agriculture, but what are some of the other areas of discipline within that academy? And the academy is physically located in Grand Forks, correct?
Correct. It's where the old Holiday Inn right off of Highway 2 and I-29 is. And we also
Mm-hmm.
have health science, we have automotive, we have construction trades, they have a culinary arts, they have a robotics. They just announced this week that they are adding or expanding on the UAS curriculum, and then they also have a flight program there that we have instructors that are teach at UND and then come over and teach there as well. So
Quite a
they do
lot.
that 3 blocks a day.
And these are high school students, so they are still very much choosing the direction that they may go in. So this is an opportunity for them to continually see different aspects of a career, correct?
Correct. Yep. They could be anywhere from sophomores to seniors that are in the programs.
So let's talk about the precision technology class that you're teaching. Are you focusing primarily on one aspect within agriculture, like the agronomy, or what does that encompass in your class?
So the way that we are focusing it is through the first semester is all about case training, which is part of the National Ag Council. And so we're using the AEMT technology, which is giving the kids a basic hands-on learning of basics in precision, or even to be a technician. We've actually even got certified through the AED Foundation. They have recognized us. And so students would be able to get certification potentially at the end, and they will um, learn about hydraulics. They'll learn about a little bit in precision. They'll learn about electronics. They'll worry about gears and transmissions and engines. So it's touching on a lot of different things. Today in class we were doing precision ag. We were using RK Technologies platform, and they were learning how to bring in fields and how to map those fields out and how to bring in other data for it. So it's really we're trying to focus on giving them a little bit of everything, not just one thing. And then next semester, we're going to focus more on the robotics side of it. And so it's going to be um, how do they work? How do you program them? How do they all work together? we signed out for a program, actually a competition through, um, it's out of California, but they have to build their own robotic uh, device, and they're chose to figure out how to get rid of those weeds in organic where they can't get in and spray, or they are unable to spray, or in sugar beet fields where the chemical is not working. So they want to make a robot that basically go out and electrify those weeds sooner than when they're growing above, say, the sugar beets.
So essentially, they're taking real world problems and having to solve for that in classroom based on the principles that they've been learning every day, and hopefully find something that's as applicable as any other inventor and developer, correct?
Correct. Yep, that is the goal. So we want to give them that real world base, and then kind of the end of it as a capstone project where they get to decide, which function of it do they like most? Do they like the computer side of it? So doing the precision. Do they like the robotic side? What part of that precision do they like? And then they get to pick that project and decide what they're going to do, either by themselves or in a group.
Now, with you mentioned a very wide radius of classrooms of schools that are bringing students into this classroom. Do kids bus in for the whole day for a certain number of days per week? For those of us who went to a small school and you just were at school all day, this feels very unique. How do you get kids transitioning in and out of these different blocks throughout the day?
Yep. So it runs on a 3 block schedule, so 3 blocks throughout the day. The Precision Ag Tech is in block 1, and so in Hillsborough, we leave school, or we leave our building at about 7:10. We stop in Central Valley and pick up some students, and I drive up with those kids, and they get to go through class that starts at 8. We're done by 9:30, and then we turn around and come back, and they're in Hillsborough. They're back for period 3, and so when they're gone, they're only missing a period or 2 periods, and they're getting, I think it's a block schedule, they're getting a full credit in a semester. So it equals out for them. And other schools are driving in. Larimore comes in block 3. Thompson is a little different. They are having the kids drive themselves since they're so close. But, we have other kids that wanted to take other classes. We just don't have the availability to get kids up there from Hillsborough during the other
Sure,
blocks.
we're got to be working on all of the scheduling to get that to go. And for those watching on our live stream, again, that is on Facebook and YouTube and Acres TV. We're seeing photos of actual farm equipment. There was a John Deere 8R, I believe, that was in the shop. Now I see a Fendt with a loader bucket on it. So it's not just theory in classroom, Levi. Folks are bringing the equipment to you to learn more, correct?
Correct. So the John Deere, we actually went out to True North, and they gave us a hands-on demonstration. They had the kids go out in the AR and troubleshoot just like they would for the real job. The Fendt that came in, that was brought in by Butler, and they letting us look at it for different gears and pulleys and how everything kind of works in electronics. And when it was there, they were able to use it by the autos class as well. Um, and here we have their True North let us bring in their combine so they can look at the different precision tech that's on it and the different tire sizes, just those basic things. So they actually get, it is hands on. And the kids say, well, hands on, and it could be anything. It's not just sitting in the classroom doing stuff all the time. Sometimes it is. Like today, they were learning about the RT or RK Technologies software for bringing in mapping, but some days it's climbing on a John Deere.
When students are doing this and they're seeing the hands-on equipment, does this open the door with some of those folks that are bringing equipment over for potential internships and so forth? Is that maybe a goal as well down the road?
That is the ultimate goal, to get them in an internship and be able to do it. We're kind of in a unique situation where we have 2 John Deere dealerships in our footprint, compared to Grand Forks and Hillsborough. We have Valley Plains. And so we actually have one of the students that goes to school here. He signed up for a work-based learning through me, and he's taken my class for precision tech and working at Valley Plains. And hopefully someday he'll be able to get full-time employment there. It's his goal. So
Wow.
it is a full
Excellent.
circle.
It really is. And are you looking for folks to come in and provide some of that real life experience for your students, whether they're with local agribusinesses or individuals? Is that something that teachers, or excuse me, that others could be reaching out to you as their teacher to help bring that experience into the classroom?
You sure can. Yeah, we're always looking for, you know, sometimes it's even just if a farmer has an old precision part that they were going to throw in the garbage, maybe we can take and use it for a while, or maybe they want to come in and talk about their experiences. The picture you're seeing now is they're learning how troubleshooting on electronics. So some things that they may not use anymore, we might be able to find useful. Some a parent brought in a trailer, so they learned how to pack wheel bearings. They brought in a transmission for everybody to look at. So we're we're open to a lot of different things. Since it's a new
Tell you
program,
what,
we're starting from the ground up.
and you are building a great program in a very quick amount of time. And also, on the flip side of things that you do, you work with the FFA chapter at Hillsborough. And I know that you have a leadership and contest coming up in early December for folks who might be listening who would have an interest in being a judge for some of those contests. I would ask them to drop me an email, ag@flagfamily.com. Again, that my inbox is sponsored by Superior Bins. And if someone has an interest in judging, I can connect them to you, Levi, to make sure that they would be able to join you in Mayville and be helpful as a judge. And what are some of the contest areas where you're looking for judges for that Mayville event?
So this is the leadership event. So we're doing parliamentary procedure at the advanced level and the beginning. So ninth graders, we have the FFA Creed. We have memorized public speaking, extemporaneous public speaking, demonstration, and job interview. They're all the events that we are looking for.
Well, and if
And
you are
that's on
interested in
December
judging any of
3rd.
those, December 3rd. If you're, especially for the public speaking, whether it's memorized or extemporaneous, demonstration, interview, creed, those are outstanding areas for judges. Sometimes it can be a little more difficult to judge parliamentary procedure. Personally, it's still my favorite contest all these years later. But again, if listeners would be available on December the 3rd, they could go to Mayville to judge contests for the FFA. Drop me an email, ag@flagfamily.com. Levi, thank you for taking the time today to talk about the Academy and get folks in the Red River Valley excited about hands on precision learning that's going on in Grand Forks for
Yeah,
so many area schools.
thanks for having us.
Glad to have you anytime. So, folks, I get to touch on the weather and so much more when we return. As we wind down the week, there's even more to look forward to. So, tomorrow we're going to begin at the 120 segment with Greg Hansen. He's with Hansen Agri Commodities, and he will continue to roll with his report called Market Uncovered. And he's a risk management company, specializes in helping producers develop and execute marketing plans for their operations, not just a one size fits all. And he uses tools to account for factors like your existing grain sales and your storage capacity. So you'll want to check them out online, hansenag.com. So that's one thing that's going to be happening tomorrow. Furthermore, there'll be a guest joining us, Chad Davison. He is with Progressive Farms. And Progressive Farms over on the Minnesota side near Moorhead, they have a modified version of what's controlled traffic farming. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to talk with Chad about that because there's what's happening in Europe with it to reduce compaction versus what some folks might be doing here in the US. And we're going to compare notes. Chad graciously offered to be able to join us in studio tomorrow. I'll be once again sliding her in sideways just as the show starts for the weekend because I will be hosting and emceeing a panel at NDSU for a luncheon put on by the Ag Econ Department. I know that's their old name. Now it's like Applied Economics and Agribusiness, but frankly, I'm a little old school sometimes, so it's still the Ag Econ Department. With the government shutdown mostly over and things coming back to normal, even before things were signed after a 43-day shutdown, USDA had announced that the WDAY report is going to be released tomorrow on November 14th. So we'll keep an eye out for that. That'll be the report for grain markets. There are some that are eagerly anticipating what the report will say and curious to know how it was compiled if the majority of the USDA employees were off on furlough. Nobody knows the answer to that question yet. We'll see what tomorrow's report shall bring. I would venture a guess that Greg Hansen will be able to review that for us when he joins us in the 120 segment. A lot of cattle have moved back home off of pasture this fall because it's that time. There's weaning going on where we're separating the large calves from mom. We're getting the calves ready to take care of themselves, and we're looking for signs of illness, perhaps respiratory distress for them if you hear them wheezing and coughing, lameness if you had someone stumble and have foot or hoof problems from the pasture. But also check out the eyes. If cattle have been on pasture and you have some buckbrush or some of those forbs and shrubs that can scratch their eyeballs, bacteria can enter that and you'll see instances of pink eye. They may have been out on pasture. Now that can come back into the feedlot and spread very rapidly. You got calves that are under more stress than usual, and just like when you take kids back to school, everybody can get sick. And it's not just cattle. Small ruminants like sheep and goats can get pink eye too. And that's often caused by a couple of different things like a conjunctivitis, the same that we would get in humans. The clinical signs are the same as what you see in a horse or in cattle. When you see ulcers, actual wounds to the eye, it is time to call the veterinarian. That's going to require more treatment than what we normally can do, and especially for anything over the counter to try to treat that. And those lesions may actually require a livestock ophthalmologist. Now, if we were going to host a list of jobs we didn't always know existed, I think we could put livestock ophthalmologist on that list. That's not one you come across very often, sort of like an equine massage therapist. So equine massage for horses does actually happen as well. There's a few headlines and things for you today, and I'm looking forward to a chat tomorrow. So stay tuned for Jay Thomas. After that, we'll talk again soon. Have a great day.